Hello and welcome to the Jefferson Madrigs podcast, the pod on a mission to normalise 18 fantasy leagues. This is the week 7 preview episode. I'm Pete and I'm joined by the full gang back together again, Ian and H. Good day to you, gents.
Hey guys.
Good day.
Big news today. We picked a perfect time to record this podcast, haven't we?
Yeah,
we can. In times gone by, so just so everyone's aware, we're recording on Tuesday night. But in times gone by, we would have recorded this on a Monday and missed all of the big news from today, and just completely made a mess of it this week. So I'm quite pleased. Firstly,
you mean like our chat last week on quarterbacks and potentially changing to Drake May, and then literally as we finished recording, it got announced Drake May was starting quarterback for the Patriots.
Yeah,
we said
after you got it horrifically wrong on the pod.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll wait till after the bye. How about
no?
Yeah.
We didn't say. Well, but the point is, we said they should change quarterbacks, and they changed quarterbacks. So the timing of it might not have been right, but I think me and H could take the W on that. So.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening back to the pod last week, and there was some bits because H said, "Oh, well, I'm going to have to start Pittman," and at that point in time, Pittman was due to go on IR. So it's like, I'm going to have to start Pittman this week, and in my head, I was like, "No, you won't."
What's quite funny with that is, what is it? I saw a tweet. It was Pittman said, "Oh, what's that, coach? Richardson's not playing again this week." Yeah, I'm fine, absolutely fine. Don't need to go to IR. Feeling great.
How do you go from potentially going on to IR with a back injury to then play in that weekend? Like,
but
how quickly can you recover?
He's gone from he might be going on IR to playing to he might still be going on IR. I'm like, hang on a minute, what? And it is very much that. It's like, if you're going to put Richardson in, just stick me on IR. I'll take 4 weeks off and see if he gets injured again.
Yeah,
and then I'll come back in when Joe Flacco's throwing me the ball. It is a bit ridiculous. But that touchdown catch was incredible.
Yeah, it
Sneeding.
Yeah.
Sneeding. What a player. What a team. We're about the most 3-3 team I think there could ever be. We're never going to challenge for anything. We're not the worst team in the league. Just give us a 500 record and away we go.
I'd kill for a 500 record right now.
Yeah, true. Did we enjoy the weekend? Enjoy the NFL this weekend?
Yeah.
I feel like
some big games.
We all won as well, didn't we?
We all won.
That's the second time this season.
Yeah.
It's actually 7 weeks now, The London game was good for a change.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. Whilst,
I don't typically enjoy the London games. They kind of feel like a bit of an anticlimax, but I thought this week's was a good game.
Yeah. Caleb Williams starting to turn into the player he was drafted to be.
Yeah, possibly. Back-to-back top 10 QB performances now. 27 points last week, 37 this week, QB1 on the week.
Look good.
Do you reckon the bye week this week's going to kind of destroy that momentum that he's built, though?
No, I don't think it is. I think he's starting to get a bit of a connection with his receivers now. Like, there's a few plays where you were like, where early on he probably scrambled and they didn't quite know what to do. Whereas it looks better, and it also helps that Swift has decided to run into gaps rather than at players now as well. So that's been a real big turnaround for him.
When you trust your running back, it opens up the passing game.
It's true. It's true. It's just like I said. It just took Swift a while to realise running into people doesn't work.
Yeah.
Which one of these? Let's jump right in. Which one of these wide receivers do you want to talk about first?
Can we talk about Amari Cooper? Because I traded for him, hoping that this would happen.
And hoping this specifically thing would happen. So for those who haven't seen
not this specifically, but this is an absolute bonus.
Yeah.
So Amari Cooper's gone to the Bills tonight, which I think
that's less than 1 million on cap space as well. That's ridiculous for a player like Amari Cooper.
I think it's a great trade for the Bills
and
for Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Well, do you know why it's a great trade? Because I actually saw some stats on Twitter just before we came on. So I've got to thank Fantasy Points Data for putting the stats out for this. At the Browns, Amari Cooper has the 5th lowest catchable target rate of 62.3 out of all receivers. So there's only 4 receivers in the entire NFL that are seeing worse throws.
Yeah.
So the Bills gives Amari Cooper the 2nd best QB in the league at making throws beyond the line of scrimmage. Josh Allen has a 59% accuracy rating compared to Deshaun Watson's 44% rating. So Deshaun Watson is 26th out of 31 QBs in terms of accuracy when making throws beyond the line of scrimmage.
I mean, he's just a trash quarterback. Like,
incredible data, to be fair, to Davante points. But it just shows that, it's not Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Only 62% of the passes thrown his way, which is shocking.
Mm.
Yeah, he's just not very good, is he?
No. I mean, what's he going to take? I know you talked about it last week. What is it going to take for Deshaun Watson to start, seeing Wood on the bench?
I was wondering where you were going with that, mate. After his accusation, seeing Wood's probably the last thing that we should be.
See what I did there. See what I did. QB 24 last week. QB 26 this week. He's not thrown over 200 yards once all season, and he's not converted 26 of his last 26 third downs. He's 0-26 on third downs.
He was about 10 for 10 in the second half, though, wasn't he, on Sunday?
Okay.
I think he was 10 for 10 or something like that. He did have a good half.
Throwing it to
still finishes QB 26 for something like 8 points.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. What's it going to take?
From a Bills point of view, does this mean they regret picking up Curtis Samuel, or Keon Coleman's not what they thought it was going to be, or is it neither of those things and they just needed another weapon?
I think they needed another weapon, and because purely on cost alone of Amari Cooper, it's just a very easy decision. I don't see them going after someone like a Davante Adams because it's a difficult trade and contracts and all that kind of stuff.
And there's a load more money involved for Davante Adams.
Yeah.
It's like 84 or 86 million.
Yeah.
For Davante Adams over 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, 3 years left. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a ridiculous amount of money for Davante Adams, but I think with Amari Cooper, they obviously got rid of Diggs to the Texans. Curtis Samuel and Keon Coleman are not Stephon Diggs, and in the transfer market, I think Amari Cooper is probably the closest player you will get for not much money.
Yeah.
I think Curtis Samuel came in as a replacement for Gabe Davis. Keon Coleman was drafted in the hopes that he would turn out to be something good, but they never actually replaced Stephon Diggs. And this is them addressing that now.
I think it's a good trade. It's a good trade all around.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's not good for the rest of the league.
Third round pick and a swap of a 6th for a 7th round.
It's nice to see the Browns are tanking for a quarterback as well, even this early.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. The manager's really like season's gone. However, they're playing us this week, and we've lost our last 6 to him.
Oh, you've got to win this week.
We have lost 6 in a row to the Browns.
We talked about this last week. You needed to beat the Giants and beat the Browns, and then your season's still alive because haven't you got the Eagles after that?
After that.
Yeah.
You've got
we just can't seem to beat them. We can't beat them.
And do we think this means so David Njoku, assuming he's back, is now going to get 15 uncatchable targets a game, is what you're telling me? So,
well, no, because he's not going as deep in the field as Amari Cooper, is he?
Yeah,
no.
You got
those short to mid-range passes.
Yeah, him and Jerry Jeudy though are going to get absolutely peppered. Possibly not at them, but in the surrounding areas.
Tell you who I want to see though. I want to see Jamari Thrash.
Yeah, I
want to see their rookie now. I want to see Thrash.
Yeah,
because
I was quite high on Tillman the year before, and I thought he might make a jump, but he's not. Judge Judy's taken over there and then Tillman's kind of not seen much. Neither's thrashed, to be fair. So it'd be interesting to see who steps up, really. I don't think anyone will, though, if I'm honest, when your quarterback's dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
So, be an interesting one.
So then the other one is Davante Adams, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say. So the other one is Davante Adams finally moved. I'm sure his hamstring's healing up as we speak.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's back this week. Did you not? He was on the Pat McAfee show earlier. So Aaron Rodgers goes on the Pat McAfee show, and Davante Adams was sleeping at Rodgers' house last night. So,
right.
Has Rodgers had a Taco Bell built at his house?
Not that I'm aware of. No, not yet.
That advert's terrible.
Oh, it's shocking.
Really terrible.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm surprised that Davante Adams isn't currently living in a Taco Bell.
Yeah. I don't really understand why. Like, why is he staying at I mean, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers has got a pretty big house, so there's plenty of room, but just get a
they might not
hotel
even see
room
each
then.
other.
He might not have stayed there, but he was in Aaron Rodgers' house.
In your mate's house. Like, it's a sleepover.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was at Aaron Rodgers' house whilst he was on the Pat McAfee show.
Just coincidental.
Yeah.
I can just imagine Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams, and Nathaniel Hackett all sat on the couch, stoned out of their minds at Aaron Rodgers' house.
So do we think? I mean, Adams is going to go straight back in there. I don't think everyone's going to be expecting, or I think a lot of people will be expecting them to be as powerful as they were a few years ago. I don't think either of them are the player that they were a few years ago when they were at the Packers, but they're still going to have that connection, and I think he's going to want to throw the ball. The question is, what does this do to Garrett Wilson moving forward?
Well, it massively devalues him, doesn't it? I mean,
I don't know.
The connection, the historic connection between Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Like, Davante Adams has only gone there for Aaron Rodgers. Look what Aaron Rodgers is doing for Alan Lazard, who's another one of his mates. He's getting 10 targets a game. Alan Lazard. Yeah.
I know. I think he's the one who's going to, like, we're not going to see any more Alan Lazard moving.
No, which is unfortunate.
And Mike Williams.
Who?
And I don't think we see a lot of him either. Like, but this is, like, I think, I'm not saying it'll help Garrett Wilson because he's not going to get the same level of targets, but I'm not, as I've got him in a couple of teams, I'm not that worried about him because I think they've got enough. They haven't got anything else. It's Adams and then it's going to be Garrett Wilson. And I think you see with Jamar Chase has looked better since T. Higgins has come back into the team and is taking some attention away. So it's like you see it with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. You see it with Hill and Waddle. It's like sometimes having two good wide receivers on the field helps both of them as opposed to hindering their performance.
Yeah, I think Garrett Wilson will obviously get less targets, but the targets that he get will probably they'll be in single coverage. He won't be getting double teamed all the time now. So he will get a better quality, better opportunity of making a play.
Yeah,
on less targets. So
they still have Nathaniel Hackett play calling though, so it's still not going to be great.
Play calling anymore?
Oh yeah, that's true. They did swap that over, didn't they?
They took it off him and got. I mean, I didn't see the game last night, which is a point we may get to in a bit, which I'm still really annoyed about. But I didn't see the game last night, but I see that they got Breece Hall moving again, which was a positive. So I'm putting that down to Nathaniel Hackett not play calling anymore because it was. I mean, like we said last week, I was at the game and you could see what was. I can see what was going to happen from the stand. The defense can see what's going to happen right in front of them. So that's Davante Adams. Anything else? Any other points quickly before we wrap up the first quarter?
Justin Fields got dropped.
Yeah, Justin Fields.
Yeah, if that. I mean, I've already had my I don't understand what the Steelers are doing rant on this, and if they take Justin Fields out and put Russell Wilson in, I'm claiming victory on that they don't know what they're doing because that's just an absolute shambles. The only reason you would take Justin Fields out now is because you don't want to pay the fourth rounder or whatever it was that if he plays more than 50% of the snaps.
Yeah, you're banking on Russell Wilson picking up another injury, so you got a couple of games in the bank for Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Just seems daft to me. Justin Fields is playing well. He's winning your games. He was 250 yards between his passing and his running on Sunday. two rushing touchdowns. You're not going to get that out of Wilson. It's a daft move because why change a winning team? It doesn't make sense. And they're going away from a quarterback who can rush and get himself yards out of nothing when the receivers just aren't that great. There's something going on with Pickens, which is just another situation. Like, it's just poor. I think it's a really, really bad decision, and it wouldn't surprise me if they end up swapping it back at some point by the end of the year anyway. My bad.
That's the wrong button.
That's the wrong button, eh?
This is what happens when I'm on the buttons.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jefferson My Drinks Fantasy Podcast, where we're on a mission to normalise 8-team leagues.
I'm going to say, do I have to do it all again?
Give it Ian till the end of the season.
We ran about, the thing is with that, we ran about 40 seconds over and waiting for you to stop talking. I realised because I came on late, I didn't know which one of you was doing the buttons, and then that happens. I was like, brilliant, here we go. Right. Who? Let's move on to fantasy. Who you pleased with this week? Who's delivered for you?
I'll go first. Finally, Evan Engram.
Yeah.
He's only just come back. Give him a break.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Finally, he's been questionable every week since week 1. He's finally come back. 10 of 10 for 102 yards. In a world of tight ends that are inconsistent, hopefully Evan Engram can provide that consistency that we're all looking for in tight ends.
I think he's about as solid a play week on week as tight ends get moving forward. And he won't moving forward. I don't think he'll finish as high as a Kelsey or a Kittle. But in terms of if you look at the rest of your squad and you go, I've got enough there. I just need to not get a 0 at tight end. I think Evan Ingram's as safe for 10 points as you're ever going to get at tight end.
Yeah,
I'm not having this tight end slander anymore.
Well, there's
2 weeks
still
now.
a waste.
2 weeks they've been putting up numbers.
Who's been putting up numbers? It's still a wasteland.
We're talking about Evan Engram. It's his first week. And he's put up more numbers in 1 week.
You tight end slandering yet again. Outrageous.
I didn't. I played him in a couple of leagues. Didn't have the balls to play him. Well, I didn't have the balls to play him in all of my leagues. I played him where I didn't have better options or didn't have what I thought were better options. But I know he got a fumble. But 10 for 100, 10 for 102 and a fumble. I was like, yeah, he's going to do exactly the same this week. Hopefully not fumble, but he's got 7 or 8 catches, another 70, 80 yards, and he might get a touchdown because it's the Patriots as opposed to the Bears. So
yeah.
H.
More ways than one. Joe Mixon. He scored 27.2 points. He had 13 for 102, 1 TD, and then 2 catches for 30 yards and a TD. And to be honest, Texans missed him, and a lot of fantasy teams also missed him because he's put up some good numbers so far this year.
We're going to have to start calling future Hall of Famer Joe Mixon.
Huge. I don't think he's at that level, mate. Although he could be on his way to getting a ring because the Texans are plodding along without anybody really paying much attention to them, just getting the wins, moving up. It's impressive to see. Like, they've not been blowing teams away this year, but they're just getting their business done without much problem whatsoever. So, I mean, you blew the Patriots away, but that doesn't really count. So.
Yeah.
Hey. I've already mentioned him, but I've gone with Breece Hall. It was just good to see him getting going again. I've got him in a few teams. 18 for 113 on the ground, 5 of 6 for 56 yards through the air. I was like, that's what you want to see. They're the sort of numbers you expect from Breece Hall. They're desperate, and after two weeks where he combined for about 7 points over 2 weeks, I really, really needed that in Dynasty. There was a really needed Breece Hall to step up a bit. As we were talking about before I came on, my Dynasty roster is an absolute mess with bye weeks and injuries and concussions. I was like, I really need. At least I know going into this week, I've got Breece Hall who might put up some points for me. So yeah, it was Breece Hall for me. He was the main one.
Yeah.
Any others before we get on to the
Yeah,
negatives?
I've still got a couple more. David Montgomery.
Yeah, what a week he had.
Yeah, we talked about pre-season, and H was worried about Montgomery dropping off and Gibbs taking over. I went all in on Monty. I've got so much exposure to him, and I really like him. Yeah, got paid this week as well. 12 carries for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Incredible day. And it would have been more if the Cowboys could actually play football, because the Lions had Craig Reynolds playing the entirety of the fourth quarter on Sunday.
It could have been more if they'd wanted it to be more, because it was 47 points at the end, and they spent half the time trying to give the ball to like linemen. It's like they are literally taking the mickey out of you at this point.
Yeah, they had at the end lining up in receiver, didn't they?
I can't get my head around the Cowboys. They're 3-3, aren't they?
Yeah,
but when they lose, my God, do they lose badly? Like that defense just falls apart.
But it's only at home. They're only getting beat at home.
Yeah.
What's going on there? What's going on?
Did you see that? They must, on the social media or something, they must put out a picture with their attendance on, and they blurred out the scoreline on the scoreboard. So it's like their sort of image of the day.
Yeah.
But I was just like, this is where
someone tell Jerry Jones we're winning. It's just someone telling me winning. He don't know.
Yeah, it's just they are really, really bad.
Yeah,
it's
that leads me onto someone that I'm hating this week, and it's Dak.
I'm glad you mentioned Dak, because I feel like I need to defend him somewhat.
Oh, Pete, just give it up, mate.
I don't know how you can defend this.
It's not his fault that he's trash.
It's not his. No, my point is, and it's the same with Trevor Lawrence.
To be fair, before Pete makes his point, I am going to kind of agree with his point for my own reasons. So go on, Pete.
It's not his fault that they're getting absolutely battered when they get battered. They've won 3 games. They've lost 3 games. So they've beaten the Giants, the Browns, and the Steelers, which is, I mean, especially the Browns and the Steelers, that's decent defenses that he's got to go up against. He's putting points up against them. And then said the problem they've got is they have no run game whatsoever.
That's it. That was my point.
Literally no run game. And yet they come out every week and go, let's try and run the ball. And like everybody knows they've got no run game. So they stop them running the ball. They go 3 and out, and they off. And when their defense isn't on it, which apparently seems to be every time they play at home and most of the time, by the time they go, we need to stop running this ball and just throw it. Dak's already 3 scores down when he comes onto the field, and it's the same argument I would make with Trevor Lawrence at the weekend. Like Trevor Lawrence throws the odd interception where you go, what are you doing there? But he's usually throwing it from 2 or 3 scores down. He's not throwing it at the beginning of games. He's got to, and it's the same with Dak the other day, for a couple of interceptions, and I don't think he throws those. I don't think he tries that throw if it's 21-all in the third quarter. He's trying it because they're 30 points down, and he can't take a sack, he can't throw it out of bounds. He's just got to try and make it happen, and that's where he's struggling. If you put Patrick Mahomes in that team, they would still be 3-3. Because it doesn't matter. The Lions could have scored 70 points on Sunday if they wanted to.
Well, this is the thing. So they've made Dak the most expensive quarterback in the NFL, $60 million a year. He put up the worst QB performance of the week across the entire NFL. Of all starting quarterbacks, he was the worst this week, 3.91 points.
Oh yeah,
if you're going to pay a QB that much, why aren't we using him? Why are we so determined to run the ball?
Well, they did this last year, and it'd be interesting because they've got the bye week this year. So they did this last year. They came out, they started slow. They didn't know they were trying to run the ball when they had no running game, and Tony Pollard wasn't right. And then they went into the bye, and then they came out, and he just started slinging it all over the place. Finished as like a top 3 quarterback in most metrics in terms of passing yards, completions, and all that sort of stuff. And because they just started throwing the ball. Now, they might do the same this year. The difference is they had a bit of a cakewalk of a schedule last year. They weren't playing much, whereas they come straight out of the bye, and I think they're playing the 49ers and the Chiefs. So it's not, they could come out throwing it all over the park, but it's probably going to end up in like Fred Warner's hands. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I find myself, especially with you, Ian, and this isn't a dig, like I find myself defending Dak and Trevor Lawrence because I feel like they're sort of middle of the road quarterbacks. One is sort of given more, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. He's given a lot more abuse because one, he plays for the Cowboys and everyone loves to hate the Cowboys, which is fair enough. And as you just said, he's been paid a shed load of money. He's been paid way more money than he's actually worth. And the other one, in Trevor Lawrence, was built up to be something up here. And because he's only like middle of the road, everyone's like, well, he's terrible, because the expectation level was that he was going to be brilliant. If he'd have been a third round pick, you'd be like, yeah, he's come in and he's done a good job, but he was supposed to be this generational talent that's going to challenge Mahomes and change the game and everything else. And he just isn't that. But you'd struggle to name 15 quarterbacks in the league that are better than both of them. So, and maybe that's a. I went through it earlier, and I reckon they're easily top 16. Oh
yeah, probably, yeah. But like, you don't need to defend that to me, because I backed him as my quarterback for Scott Fish. Like I went all in on Dak. I stacked him with Jake Ferguson. Oh, it's going to be as good.
Was that before or after you picked JJ
McCarthy? Yeah. What a mistake. And, it's just, if I'd have played either Spencer Rattler or Andy Dalton this week in Scott Fish instead of Dak, I'd have won my matchup.
Yeah, he was terrible. I'm not defending
Spencer Rattler and Andy Dalton outplaying you. You need to have a look at yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, the Cowboys need to have a look at the coaching.
I'm going to jump in, and because I've got another rant that I need to get off my chest. So, James Cook is mine, and this isn't about James Cook. This is about the reporting around James Cook. He's expected to play. He's going to play. I wake up this morning. Guess what? He didn't play. So, and this is a bigger thing, but I'm annoyed because I lost to Ian in our most important league, and I did everything right this weekend. I dropped Rico Dowdle. I brought in Alan Lazard, so I had a backup for James Cook. But all of the reporting was that James Cook was going to play. And all right, I had a busy day yesterday. I ended up going to bed late. I didn't set my alarm. I didn't wake up. There was a lot that went wrong. But the point was, all the reporting I'd read was James Cook's going to play. And he didn't. So I was like, why are you reporting that? Which brings me on to a wider point of they need to ban coaches using the phrase day to day or week to week. Put a date on it. So what does week to week mean? He's either injured. It's like the Pittman thing. He's either injured or he's not injured. And if he's injured, tell us how long it's going to be. Put a date. If you say 2 weeks and then you go, actually, he's ahead of schedule, or actually, that's fine. But don't say week to week, because that does not help us. There's fantasy players all over the world going, what does that mean? I've just got to wait until... And it's hard enough. And granted, we've already had this conversation. All three of us have got too excited in the summer, and we're in too many leagues. And this probably wouldn't be as big of a problem if I wasn't trying to manage so many leagues. But there's people all over. It's like we can't be waiting for like 45 minutes before the games to see if people are playing all the time. We need a bit of help. We need you to tell us a couple of days beforehand whether they're going to be out or not.
But it's like people got caught out with McCaffrey.
Yeah.
In week one, because they were on the late game. McCaffrey, it was reported all week. He's probably playing. He's expected to play. People went to bed, woke up. How many points has McCaffrey got? Oh, no, he didn't play.
Yeah.
What? Oh, by the way, he's out for 6 more weeks. What?
Yeah. It's not
wasted first round pick.
Yeah.
Well, first overall.
Well, you won't be the only one, H, will you?
No.
95% of the world will have taken CMC at 101.
Ever since I traded for him for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's been on absolute fire. So that dynasty trade is not looking good at this point. McCaffrey seems to be nowhere to be seen and not planning on ever coming back. Probably still in Germany. and Derrick Henry's just running through every team that stands in front of him. So.
Yeah.
He's rumoured to be back in November, isn't he? So we'll see.
Who upset you, H? Just quickly before we finish up.
Everyone. Olave, ETN, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tank Bigsby, Javonte Williams. Like the list is endless this week. I had an absolute horror show in my dynasty where I think 6 players were either on buys or injured and stuff like that. And it's just horrible week. But
poor management. Poor management.
This is the worst. This is the worst I ever remember the situation being.
Yeah, definitely.
It always feels bad in season, but this is horrendous.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
On to the third. You got the right button this time.
Yeah.
That means game day recap. Hit us, H.
Just tragic.
in a word.
Yeah, it is. This is why I hate Dak Prescott. And I'm not even gonna every time I back this clown, he's just tragic. And he couldn't even get into a decent shootout with the Lions. And the Lions took the mickey. I mean, it didn't help that 2 of our players went out in the first quarter with concussion. One of them being our captain.
Yeah.
And then the other one left with minus 1 point something points because he fumbled it as well as getting knocked out. So that was brilliant. We had absolutely nothing from Dak, nothing from Sermon, who was my bargain. And we only had Diggs, Laporta.
I did tell you, Sermon.
That went over.
I did tell you last week, Sermon looked horrendous, and I confirmed it in our group. Sermon last week.
Should we go to the other one that I had? So I was originally playing Stroud for Diggs, and I got told, "Oh, Stroud against the Patriots D? I don't think so." And so I changed that one out.
What else were you told directly after that? What were you told?
Oh, you had already moaned about it, so that's why I changed it.
Not change it because it won't work. Anytime you make
it doesn't, because Dak's trash. He's an overpaid, overrated quarterback.
This started off with you sort of taking it on the chin, and now it feels like you're blaming Ian for your.
No, I'm blaming these stupid injuries and Dak Prescott, because I just hate him, and CD Lamb. When have I ever picked Dak Prescott and CD Lamb in a team? The one time I trust these two, and this is what happens. We finish 3rd from bottom out of 400 people.
3rd from bottom, is that where we were?
3rd from bottom.
Yeah.
To be fair, our captain got 0 points because he went off injured.
That's quite impressive.
It feels like there's way more concussions this year.
Yeah, it does.
They brought in these Guardian caps. Some players are wearing Guardian caps for actual games. How long before the league just make it mandatory?
I don't know.
I'm not sure that Kyler Murray could handle a Guardian cap. His helmet, his head already looks too big. Can you imagine? He's literally like one of them bobbleheads running around. I can imagine if he just moves slightly, his whole body would just tip over, flip over on its side, like the opposite of like one of them Weebles. He's just like he's all top heavy because you put extra weight on his helmet. But,
just quickly again on game day though, in my private one, I did have another go, and I finished 97 out of 637 in the £3 game, so I won a bit of money there. So,
okay, well, well done. That doesn't help anyone, but well done, H.
No, helps me.
Yeah,
we're dead pleased for you.
Thanks.
What's you're picking captain this week?
I'm picking captain this week, and I am giving you Justin Jefferson against the Lions because I think that should be a shootout. But I was originally going to give you a choice of Amon-Ra or Jefferson because of the same price. But then I think with the Hutchinson injury, I think Sam Darnold may have a little bit more time than sort of the way that the Vikings defense have bin, so I'm going Jefferson.
That Hutchinson
that.
injury
It was horrible.
Horrendous. But
Yeah.
I think if you take the fantasy, and you kind of go, well, it's not really going to have an impact on fantasy. I think it will, because I think the Lions are going to. The only thing that could make a difference is the Lions might have to score more in certain games, and they're more than capable of scoring more. So I think the likes of Gibbs, Montgomery, we just talked about, Amon-Ra, even Jameson Williams could just actually be, and Jared Goff, who looked good. But,
I think the Lions might go out and get Hassan Reddick.
I think they might go and get Max Crosby.
I think they'll get because Hassan Reddick's been given permission to seek a trade.
Yeah, but Crosby said he was going.
They'll give him a 1-year deal to try and get a Super Bowl.
That could work.
I just don't think he's. This is harsh, because he's a really good player, Hassan Reddick, but I don't think he's in the same league as Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson for me was on.
Tell me someone that's on the market.
Well, Hutchinson this year for me was the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year at this stage. Is the most. I think he had the most sacks, the most tackle for losses. Like he has been a monster to start this year. He's pressuring the quarterback so much more. It massively affects the Lions. I would go and speak to the Raiders about Crosby, because apparently Crosby wasn't happy with the Adams trade. So why not get somebody like Max Crosby?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bad time to be a Raiders fan, isn't it?
They're going to want a lot for him, though.
No,
yeah. But would you?
No QB, no running game. You just got rid of Davante Adams. I mean, you might as well just sell everyone.
Yeah.
Well, they are tanking anyway.
Yeah,
you can see.
In full rebuild
they say
that
probably not. Oh, now.
But they'll still find a way. The Raiders are the sort of team that can tank and end up at 7-10, and you'd be like, well, that doesn't help you, does it? So you can't even do that properly. So,
however, Brock Bowers' stock is through the roof for you this now, Ian. That little gamble you took at the start of the year has paid off quite nicely.
In pretty much every league as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere I could get him, I got Brock Bowers.
The funny thing is, in our dynasty, you had the number 1 overall pick. You went up and down that board, trading your life away for the 2 weeks before, and then ended up at 4. Took Bowers, and everybody went, "Oh, that's an odd pick."
That's a reach.
Now it looks like a bit of a genius move.
Yeah.
And you gave away a lot on the way to getting there, but it was
including Jahmyr Gibbs.
I essentially gave up Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
like I say, I wasn't bothered about Jahmyr Gibbs because of all David Montgomery.
Who's now sat on my concussion bench. So I've got an IR. I've also got a concussion bench where there's several of them who are all just like dazed and confused, sat together.
Right, take us quite nicely into waivers then, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it will when we've been through the JMD League. If you want to play game day, sign up with our code JMDFS, get a free game on us. Any questions, email, messages, that sort of stuff. JMD League, right, I'll quickly run through. Pick a league and we'll go pick a division, and then I'll run through it.
Well, I lost, so you might as well get mine out of the way. Marino,
top scorer, Team Dynasty Island, 193.28. Do you want to have a guess at who they were playing, H?
Yeah. Guess who was the third highest scorer in the division as well? Me.
Third highest scorer.
I got my weekly report. I was on the pedestal. And I was like, all right, great. Look who's first. Nice.
That makes no difference.
Yeah.
The lowest score was Team MKC Papa, 132.7, which isn't the worst score in the end, but it was the worst score in the division. Team Drift Edge 0914 get the first win to move to 1-5. Dynasty Cowboys got their first loss to move to 5-1. That was the Marino division. Let's move on to Brady. That's your division in H.
Yeah.
Yeovil Town 49ers, 189. Fantastic score. The lowest score in the division with 90.78, which is the second lowest weekly score we have had. Do you want to have a guess at who that was? And I'll give you a clue. He's been on the podcast.
Cullen. Is it Matt Cullen?
No,
No.
wrong division.
Oh,
5-yard rush, Murph.
Oh,
Murph scored 90 points in a shocking week. There is a 3-way tie at the top of this division at 4 and 2, and it's all to play for. Pump up those balls, Yeovil Town 49ers and owner of Brady. A big shout out to Renija Speed, which is a great, who changed their name this week. So we've got another one to change their name. So big shout out to them.
Good change.
They've scored 1,001 points, which is the second highest across all divisions, and they're sat at 3 and 3.
Oh, that sucks.
That's right. So you think you've got it harsh, right? In fact, there's only 2 teams who've scored 1,000 points so far out of the 32. One of them is Renija Speed, and he's sat at 3 and 3. So this is what happens. Our division, Manning, or my division, Manning, JMD Penguins top scored with 160.28. Fantastic result for me. And PM Big Man, who changed his team name again this week to Can't Buy a Win, scored 110.52 because he can't buy any points, let alone a win. Team Mungry Pablo won 152.6 to 151.3 in that division, and is 5-1 behind the last Waltz, who are 6-0, the only team remaining unbeaten across all 4 divisions. 6-0 is a really impressive performance. So well done for the last Waltz. And last but not least, Elway division, Team 89 Monday top scored with 192.1. The lowest score was Team JTT Cup, Millionaire Matt, low scored with 103.5. He is 1 and 5 on the season and struggling in that. Team 89 Monday, who top scored this week, moved to 5 and 1 to lead the way.
See, anyone listening, all those teams that are now 1 and 5, you should be hitting them for trades.
You should. Is that one of? Yeah, I'd still be going for it at 1 and 5.
Yeah, you're obviously still going for it, but you also got an eye on next year. So those teams that are now 1 and 5 in divisions, start sending them picks for next year.
Yeah, it's getting to that point where you've got to start thinking. I was going through my leagues earlier. I am 3 and 3 in so many leagues. I'm 3 and 3 in at least 80% of my leagues that matter. And I was like, I don't know whether to take the positives out of that, in that I've got 6 weeks worth of data and things to look at, and I know what's going on, and I'm still like right in it, or whether to just go, what have I been doing for the last 6 months? Wasting time. I'm exactly where I started 6 weeks ago. And instead of going like, I don't know, 8 and 7 the rest of the way, I've got to go 5 and 4. It's just that's what it is. I was going to skip waivers, but if you've got waivers, we can talk about it.
Oh, I've got 2.
In fact, I'm not going to skip it because the one thing I wanted to talk about we haven't got time to. So let's go for waivers instead.
Have you guys got any?
Yes.
Found it a little bit difficult this week. I've got a couple of names, just potential stashes though. Nothing major.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Well, my first one's Rashid Shaheed. I've been through the majority of our 18 leagues that we're in, or that I'm in, and he's available in most of them. Currently ranked 20th overall. He's had 41 targets over 6 games. Olave's had 29. I know that Olave left early last week, but even if Olave is able to suit up, he's out targeting him, and he's also the downfield threat.
He's also picked up an injury.
He has picked up an injury, and they've got a short week this week. They're playing Thursday night, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing Thursday night against the Broncos. So Olave is probably definitely going to be out. Shaheed is having his knee looked at. So Shaheed's got a more positive outlook. And if Shaheed can suit up for Thursday, he could be the man.
So I had a couple of running backs, and it's a bit more like what H was talking about, in that they're a bit more like stash them because they might become useful. I'm not necessarily sure you'd start them, but Tyler Algier had a great week and looked really good. And granted, Bijan Robinson, who is another conversation we should be having, I can't get my head around him, and what people think of him at the moment. He looked good too, but they are just they're gonna run the ball when they can run the ball, and both of them are gonna score points. And he's one of those you could stash him, you can use him if you're desperate, and if Bijan Robinson goes down, he'll be brilliant. And another one of those is Sean Tucker from the Bucks?
Sean Tucker for the Bucks.
Yeah, he looked really good and put up good numbers at the weekend as well. But obviously, a lot of that has to do with Rashad White being out. If Rashad White's back, I'm not sure Sean Tucker really relevant.
Yeah, I had Sean Tucker as maybe somebody to stash because if Rashad White's out for a little bit longer, he comes more into it. I also had the two that have played quite well with Tracy and Ray Davis. So Tyron Tracy from the Giants, Ray Davis from the Bills. Because with everything that happened with James Cook this week, I was kind of like, oh no, he's going to be playing, and then all of a sudden he's not, and is it rumours he's got turf toe or something like that, and it's affecting him, and this, that, and the other. And Ray Davis stepped up massively. Singletary's dealing with a groin injury. I still think Singletary probably goes in as RB1 there, but he now has a major backup, and the Giants actually have something that they can use as a run game. And
I mean, he was playing the
Neighbors,
let's just temper
Yeah,
expectations
but he got 100 yards the week before.
He looked great. He did. He looked really good. He was running hard and he was making catches. He caught 6 of 6 as well, Daniel Jones. So he's catching passes as well. But it is the Bengals who are letting everyone just run all over us.
Yeah.
So,
it's 2 weeks he's done it. It's not just the Bengals.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So my second one was running back as well. And it's not a star sheet. It's getting him in and playing. And it's Pete's mate. It's Alexander Mattison. Yeah. Yeah, ranked 25th overall. He's got 4 touches through 6 games. 3 of those TDs were in the first 3 weeks when he only averaged 7 touches a game. The last 2 weeks, he's had 18 touches and 19 touches. So his workload has more than doubled. So he's very, very clearly the lead back. They've allowed fumbled. Yeah. But Zamir White's not getting the job out now. That's it, he's done.
I'm not jumping back in on Alex Mattison. He burned me too much last year. I'm not that stupid.
Well, a word of caution on Mattison. If you bring him in now, his next 2 games are the Chargers and the Chiefs, which are tough to run against. 3 games after that, Bengals, Miami, and Denver, who are giving up running points. So pick him up now while you can, so that you can play him in 3 weeks' time.
I like it. My selection nightmare is awful.
That's the point. Like, this is that's the point of this section. If you're coming in with a nice one, no one cares. It's supposed to be horrible.
I liked it at the beginning of the season when it was like, should I play, this starting wide receiver or this starting wide receiver? Because everyone's fit, and I'm only playing in an 8-team league, and I've got options. Not all of my options are concussed, so now I've got these options.
This is when it matters. It's supposed to be horrendous.
Right, who's going first? Do you want to hear mine first?
Yeah,
go for it. You teed it up.
Wide receiver, full PPR, got to play one. Darnell Mooney at home to the Seahawks, or Juju Smith-Schuster away at the 49ers. Oh.
How have you got a roster where you're deciding between these two?
I've just told you, injuries.
I love fantasy football. That is incredible.
God.
That is incredible.
You just told me this was what it was all about.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. The game before the Chiefs bye week, Juju Smith, he went off, didn't he?
Yeah. Which is the only reason he's the only reason he's actually on the roster. Dead.
He went nuts in the week before the bye week. I'm just getting it on.
9 catches for like 100 or 9 might be
120.
7 of 8 for 130. 20 points bang on. Wide receiver 13 on the week. Against San Fran, might need a lot of points. Can't just keep throwing it to Kelsey. I like Juju this week. Don't like
I'm going
Darnell
down on
Mooney.
Mooney.
Of course you are, H.
Well,
Well done. Do you want
I'm going down on Mooney. Darnell Mooney has more of a chance of being consistent. I think Juju, yes, he had a great game, but can we really see Juju doing that
I feel
again
like
all season?
No,
No.
it's going to burn me. So doesn't matter.
Oh yeah,
yeah, you're getting hurt either way, but
Yeah.
like it's difficult. It's difficult for me to even say Juju because I hate the guy. I think he's an absolute idiot. He's the Jesse Lingard of the NFL. Like he's bang average with a prima donna attitude. He's horrendous. But I think he's gonna have a better week than Darnell Mooney this week.
Okay. We need to put it to a Twitter vote. I need the people to speak. If you two can't agree,
just have a look at waivers, mate. I'd say.
Surely by this point, like it's Tuesday night. Waivers processed tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
You must imply we've got to assume that waivers have been looked at by now.
What do you think? As soon as we shut this, what do you think I'll be spending the last hour of Tuesday doing? I'm not getting until at least midnight tonight.
I mean, is this in a league where you could potentially make a trade?
Yeah.
Basically, Ian is asking, is he in that league?
Am I in this league?
I honestly actually remember which league it is off the top of my head, but yeah, probably. No, in fact, I do remember. No, you're not in that league. It's the JMD Manning League.
Oh, right, fair enough. So hit that 5-1 team up.
Yeah. The 1 and 5 team, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, the 1 and 5. Yeah, don't trade with the top of the league. You won't want it. Yeah, that 1 and 5 team.
I'll have a look at waivers and then it might come to trades.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be honest, I haven't given it a lot of attention because I've spent the entire afternoon sending out trades in our Dynasty League to try and get a roster for this weekend. So
still waiting on mine.
Yeah, around me.
Yeah.
I'm not H, you're the worst person to attempt to trade with.
No, right. There's a difference between a Pete trade and so today, right? Ian, I'll put it into context. I put Trevor Lawrence on the trade block today. He sent me a trade, Derek Carr for him.
You like Derek Carr?
You do like Derek Carr.
I don't dispute that. I'm not going to go, let me get rid of
Derek Carr for every trade. Anyone you put on the trade block, straight away, Derek Carr.
But this is my point. You're looking to move Trevor Lawrence. You like Derek Carr. So I've
also got 5 quarterbacks in that team.
I thought that was a good starting point. The reason I don't like trading with you is you just reject it and then that's it. That's the last I hear from it. I don't get anything. I don't get any like, I'm not really.
Well, send me a trade request in the Dynasty, and I'll do a negotiating with you.
Let's go back on track here, lads.
Did you reject my Will Levis offer?
You mean the one where you get Will Levis and I get a banana?
Yeah.
No, I rejected that one as well, believe it or not.
And just to be clear, it was one banana. I was very clear on that.
The skin's still on.
Yeah, no, it was pre-peeled.
One banana.
Which is no good.
I can't believe you turned that one down. I thought that was... The thing is, that's in a league where we have to have chocolate. So I was going to make you add chocolate as well. All you're getting out of me is one banana. I want Will Levis and some chocolate. So. Anyway, come on, we need to move it on. Trade.
Go on, H.
Nightmare.
Just because Pete's was horrific, I'll go with my nice one. I've got 2, so I'll go with my nice one. So in one of our redraft leagues, I have wide receivers of Neighbours, Jefferson, Diggs, and then I've got a choice of Cooper Kupp or Garrett Wilson.
Kupp's likely to play, isn't he?
Supposedly, yeah. And with Adams moving over, my thought is Wilson may still be the guy this week, whilst Adams gets the playbook and whatnot. But
if Kupp plays, you've got to play him. If Kupp plays, you've got to start him. And it's not so much with the Adams thing; it's more the fact that they're playing at the Steelers. Like the Jets are. I mean, I was already worried about Garrett Wilson before for this particular week because I just can't see them putting up big points at the Steelers. I think they'll win, especially if they're playing Russell Wilson. But I don't think it's going to be a shootout. Whereas Cooper Kupp, if Cooper Kupp's back in the lineup, he's getting 10 targets. What more do you want?
Yeah, I agree. All the way with Pete there. Plus, the play calling's a lot better at the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, it has improved, obviously, hasn't it, since they got rid of Nahaki, but yeah, Davante Adams, he will play some snaps. He won't be on a full package. He won't learn the entire playbook. He will be on a snap count, and he'll be in for the plays that he's managed to learn in the 3 days that he's had training with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will impact on Garrett Wilson's availability. Like I said before, he will have better quality targets because he won't be in double coverage all the time. But Cooper Kupp is guaranteed to be on the pitch for pretty much every play if he's fit, and he's going to get spanned.
I'm just thinking about a bet this week. The Steelers are going to pick Aaron Rodgers off at least twice. He's going to force that ball to Davante Adams, and they're going to see it coming.
Okay.
I might have a look at that. I don't know what sort of odds you're going to get on that, but that's my prediction for this weekend. Anyway, Ian.
So mine you might actually think is quite an interesting one. So mine is either Brandon Ayuk versus the Chiefs or Jordan Addison versus the Lions. So I'll give you my rationale behind this now. This is why it's difficult. So we're in week 7 now. And other than one 18-point game, Ayuk hasn't scored higher than 7.3 points in the other 6 games. Coming into a game now against a really tough Kansas D. Addison has missed 2 games and had a bye week. Scored 5, 5.1, and 21.4.
Is he healthy?
And he's going into a game where the Lions are missing Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah.
I didn't mind he was out. I would always run the risk and just play Ayuk.
I would go Ayuk, but it's purely, I think, with San Fran, I don't know, they're both going to be shootouts. No, I like Ayuk. When you said the 2, I instantly went Ayuk. I think Jefferson plays a real big factor in the Minnesota one. I think both games could potentially be a shootout. But I would say Ayuk. I think Ayuk is more likely to get you sort of
7 points.
Good points. Whereas Addison, no, because
pretty much exactly what he's been doing. You know.
Well, Addison's either all or nothing, and I think he's more of a risk.
I mean, were you listening to the stats? Ayuk has played 6 games and none of them are higher than 7.3 and scored 18. That's an outlier. So who's more likely to get me the points? Like Addison has scored 5, 5.1, and 21.4.
My defense of Ayuk would be that to those stats is that it's taken him 4 weeks to get going. So I would take the most recent weeks more importantly than the first weeks of this. He didn't train, he didn't sign him until the last day of the preseason. He looked terrible. He couldn't catch a cold for the first few weeks. Then he had the big week in week 5. And all right, he didn't follow it up in week 6, but like there was other versions of that game that could have gone slightly differently. It wouldn't. I think his floor will be a little bit safer. He's always going to have the odd. The thing is with the 49ers, they've got so much talent that you're going to have the odd game where Debo doesn't do much, Ayuk doesn't do much, even Kittle doesn't do much. McCaffrey is the only one that's ever been a safe play because they've got too much talent. But it's hard to, in what could turn into a bit of a shootout.
I can also see. Sorry, interrupted there. I can also see Debo taking reps at running back this week with Jordan Mason supposedly dealing with a real tough shoulder injury. So they've only got Garendo, the rookie, in. So there's a chance Debo is more involved in the backfield, which potentially gives Ayuk more targets over maybe Jennings.
So just to shut this in, I do have the option, although I don't want to do it. I do have the option of playing Amari Cooper against the Titans, but I didn't want to touch him this week.
No, not against the Titans because he'll go 1-on-1 with Snead, won't he? Titans defense isn't bad. They've not given up many points to wide receivers. If you actually look at them, they're a tough defense. It's just they're so bad offensively that
Will Levis can't help turning it over.
Yeah. The Spider-Man celebration was class, though.
So you're saying Ayuk for me, then?
I'd say Ayuk, yeah.
Go for it.
I will flip it and say in 2 weeks, go Amari Cooper and just ride it out with him because that's worked out perfectly.
I need Ayuk to have a big game as well, so I'll be right there with you, Ian. I'm not. This isn't me just randomly going play Ayuk. I'm in on Ayuk this week. I need it to be big.
Cool.
Right. Have we got a drum roll sound effect?
No, we've not, have we?
No.
Because the next bit needs a drum roll.
Oh, it's finally happened.
6 attempts, and our charity bet finally comes in. Boom. We won £32.39 off a £5 bet. So for the season, we are £2.39 in profit.
There we go.
So the only way, like the trajectory, it's like that now. We are going up. We are on our way to this magical number for a magical charity. There are potentially 5 games this week, so I don't know whether my theory is we just go all 5 and we try and ride this wave of success that we're currently on.
Yeah.
But
some tough games this week, though.
I'm happy for
There's
you
some
to
big games this week.
Let's discuss. Yeah, but I think most of these.
And
anyway,
then
let's go through them. Thursday night football is Broncos at Saints. Ooh.
Although we might have to wait for the injury report because if there's no Shaheed,
I'm going
no Olave, Derek Carr's definitely
no Carr.
out anyway. The Broncos have got a shout. However,
Revenge game as well.
I just think
big revenge game.
I think the Saints can carry them through that.
I've just realised why this is on Thursday night football. It's Sean Payton, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wondered why they'd gone. I just thought it was one of those. They need to put the Broncos in prime time at some point. So you're going Saints, H?
I like the Broncos for this one. I just think the downward spiral of the Saints is a little bit like I know they're banged up, but it's likely it's going to be Rattler again. And although I liked the fact that he slung the ball around, he did give up quite a lot. And I just think Denver have got that they had that little bit going before this week.
I agree with you. I think we should go for the Broncos to win on the road.
Yeah.
Let's do it. The London game, Patriots at Jags.
I'm Patriots. I'm all in. Drake May, come on, get him. I like Drake May. He had a good game against the Texans. I know the stats don't look like it, but I'm a big fan of May, so I'm gonna back him.
I'm
going Jags.
Yeah.
I'm taking Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram.
And I'm going to be honest. Yeah, Trevor, the Evan Ingram thing helps massively. I also think, and I mentioned this last week, but I also think the fact that they've been in London for a week longer than the Patriots will have been in London, and I think it helps them. They're used to playing there. I think
I just like the pack. I like Drake May, and I'm going to back him, and that's what I'm doing. So,
I think while the Jags were go on, Pete.
I wasn't aware you liked Drake May. You should have mentioned that in the off season. We've never talked about it.
Yeah. And while the Jags are over here for their last game, they might as well just leave Lewis Rees-Zammit.
Yeah.
Just get on the plane, leave Lewis Rees-Zammit in London.
And if they, I think if they lose, they can leave Doug Peterson with him as well. To be honest, so
yeah.
They won't need to take it back.
Yeah.
Sunday
just
night
on
football.
that, do you see how many dropped TD passes there were this week? The Jags dropped 4 that were solid TD passes, like straight in the hands.
Gabe Davis, man.
It wasn't just Gabe Davis. Brian Thomas Jr. drops one.
Gabe Davis was horrendous.
You just
That was a Hallam Monk catch.
Yeah.
The Brian Thomas Jr. one cost me £115. So I've got this. My new thing to do is put a fiver on 3 touchdown scorers when I'm watching a game, and I had Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, and Brian Thomas. And so I was like, and I was on for 150, and he threw it to me, and he didn't catch it. And I was like, oh my god, that close. Right, Sunday Night Football, Jets at Steelers. Tough one, this. You think Steelers?
How is this a primetime game?
Is it just me, or does it feel like the Jets are on primetime every week?
Yeah.
You do.
I'm gonna just purely because I don't like the fact the Steelers have changed the quarterback, and I don't see Russell Wilson scrambling for touchdowns, which has been their thing. I'm going Jets, which is honestly how this is a primetime game is beyond me. It should get rescheduled.
See, this is one of those games where the Jets will lose horrifically, and then there'll be loads of memes about Davante being really sad and trying to get back to Las Vegas.
If the Steelers don't play Wilson and they stick with Justin Fields, who do you think will win, H?
I'd probably back the Steelers at that point.
Yeah, so that's the way I'm leaning. I just think it's stupid playing Russell Wilson, but I think the Steelers will win if they stick with Justin Fields. So I'll save it until as late on Thursday as I can. I'll see what the news is.
Yeah.
If it's Justin
I also
Fields,
think if Derek Carr plays for the Saints win that game, but it's likely he's not going to play.
Oh no, Derek Carr's missing multiple weeks.
Yeah, I think that's a key factor in that one. That's why I lent Broncos.
Yeah.
Go on.
He's still available in Dynasty if you want him though, H. I can send Derek Carr over to you.
That's all right, mate.
I'll throw in whatever fruit you want.
Right, mate. We're not doing trade negotiations when we're trying to finish the podcast. Get it wrapped up. Come on.
Right. Monday Night Football, Ravens at Buccaneers. Good game.
Ravens
are cooking.
Yeah, I mean the Bucs just put 51 points up this week.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And Mike Evans only got 4 catches. What's that about, by the way?
The Bucs are a good team, but they feel like they're only going to be good 2/3 of the time. And I just feel like the Ravens this is the sort of game that they probably won't turn up for. So I'm with the Ravens as well. And also on Monday night, for the second, I think this is the 3rd week we've had a double Monday night football double header.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand when they started doing. This is just what's going to happen every week sooner or later, isn't it? We're going to get to they're going to release a schedule. And there's going to be 2 Monday Night Football games every single week by about 2027. It's Chargers at Cards.
Chargers for me.
Cardinals for me.
I was going to say I'm going Card. I'm backing Kyler to bounce back. I felt like I didn't see that game on Sunday, but there seemed to be a lot of him throwing the ball to people, them running 2 yards and then dropping it. So I was like, fumbling it away. I'm like, hang on a minute, this isn't all on Kyler. So he's completed the pass. He obviously lost Harrison early doors. They just didn't have much of a chance to compete in that game. Right, I will pull something together off the back of that and see what we can do.
Okay, cool.
There's a lot of if, buts, and maybes. I think that's it. We've run over by about 6 minutes. But if I do say
those 6 minutes were you talking about sending a banana to H?
Well, yeah, it's good content though. I mean, it's good content.
That's where those 6 minutes went.
It's good content for the people. That's what they want to know. They want to know what offers that H is just ignoring me, not talking to me, sending me rejections all the time. Right. Thanks for listening. As always, we do appreciate it. Tell your friends. You know where to find us. We will be back next week at the same time. I'm looking forward to it. Enjoy week 7.